والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب الله العالمين سيدنا وسندنا وشفيع ذنوبنا ومولانا العبد المؤيد والرسول المسدد المصطفى الأمجد أبا القاسم محمد اللهم صل على وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين سيما بقية الله في الأرضين الحجة ابن الحسن روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam says, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. The heart of the youth is like an uncultivated piece of land. It's my honor to be here in this blessed program on this early Saturday morning, which many of you could be spending sleeping, could be spending with your families, in your houses, having fun. But you've taken the decision to come to a program and to come to the masjid and to spend your time learning about the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to enhance your knowledge and indeed to gain proximity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The hadith that I mentioned in the beginning of the talk is a narration by Imam Ali alayhi salam. Which number Imam is Imam Ali? Brother in the gray jacket. Number 1. Who agrees? If you agree, give me a salawat. So those of you who didn't do salawat, which number Imam is Imam Ali? You disagree? Okay, alhamdulillah, excellent, very good. Imam Ali alayhi salam is Imam number 1. Now this hadith is very interesting. How many of you came driving to the masjid? Everybody came walking? Who came driving? If you came driving, raise your hand. Okay, excellent. Now when you guys were driving, how many of you seen empty pieces of land? Okay. Now when you see those empty pieces of land, what comes to your mind? Anything could be built on these lands, right? You can come and build, for example, a McDonald's. You can come build, for example, a Burger King. You can come and build even a bar. You can build a masjid. Anything could be established on these lands. Imam Ali alayhi salam comes and says that the heart of the youth is just like that empty piece of land. Anything could be built on the heart of the youth. Now somebody comes and asks a question. Brother, you're telling me I can build something on my heart? What are you talking about? Does Imam Ali mean it physically? No, he means it metaphorically. He says, us as youth, you as youth, sitting down, 10 years old, 9 years old, 15, even go 19, 20 years old, you have a heart which is still pure, a heart which still hasn't been contaminated with the pollution of this world. Now, whatever I plant on this heart would begin to grow. If I plant in this heart the love of people who shouldn't be followed, celebrities, athletes, singers, the Biebers, you know what I'm talking about? If I plant the love of those who shouldn't be followed inside of my heart, Imam Ali alayhi salam comes and says, bad fruits will begin to grow. It's just like a tree. If I have a tree, for example, and I plant a seed, but I don't give it good soil, I don't give it proper water, I don't give it proper sunlight, will this tree give me good fruits? No. Why? Because I didn't take care of the tree properly. Imam Ali alayhi salam comes and says, take care of that heart. Nurture it properly with the light of Ahlul Bayt, and indeed good things will begin to grow. Who is the role model that I tend to take in my life? Now, of course, one thing that does fill this heart with good things is parents. Yesterday we had an excellent discussion in this center in regards to parents. One beautiful thing about parents, and everybody in here has come because of two sources, a father and a mother. Were it not for them, we would cease existence. We wouldn't be here basically. Allah comes and says, وَوَصَّيْنَا الْإِنسَانَ بِوَالِدَيْهِ حَمَلَتْهُ أُمُّهُ وَهْنًا عَلَى وَهْنٍ وَفِصَالُهُ فِي عَامَيْنِ أَنِ اشْكُرْ لِي وَلِوَالِدَيْكَ إِلَيَّ الْمَصِيرُ وَإِنْ جَاهَدَاكَ عَلَىٰ أَنْ تُشْرِكَ بِاللَّهِ فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes and says in Surah Luqman, verse number 14, He says, indeed, we told man to show respect to his parents. Why, oh Allah? Why do I show respect to my parents? Because He's saying, the heart of the youth is soft. It's uncultivated. Nothing has been built on it. Parents come and build good things on the heart. It's for that reason the Holy Prophet comes and says, your mother, your mother, your mother, and then your father. If there was anybody to be worshipped other than Allah, it's the parents, for example. Could you imagine just that thought, that there's going to be a day where I'm going to have nothing left of my parents except for a picture? Could you just think about that thought? The same mom that I see in front of me bringing me to school, my father, for example, waking up early, bringing me to school. There's going to be a day where I'm going to have nothing left of that mother, nothing left of that father, except for a picture in my hand. She's going to be gone. And I'm going to look at that picture, and I'm going to say, Mama or Baba, you used to scream at me, I used to scream at you. You may even have had the audacity, for example, to hit me. But now I have nothing left except a picture of you. Please come back and just speak to me one more time. You'll be there on the coffin of your mother, and you'll be smacking that coffin, screaming, saying, Mother, please just stand up and speak to me one more time. Come and hit me one more time. I don't care what it is. Come and scream at me. Come and tell me to clean my room. Come and tell me to take out the garbage. Come and tell me to do the dishes. I don't care what it is. Just come and speak to me one more time. Allah comes and says, you don't have to wait for that time. Right now, there she is. Go and kiss her foot. Someone comes and says, ew, brother, kiss her foot. Allah comes and says, yes. When Allah comes and says, heaven lies under the feet of the mother, it's not a physical statement. Yes, it may be metaphorical, that the obedience of the mother, heaven is granted to the one who obeys the mother. It's Allah comes and says, there she is. Go and speak to her. Go and be kind to her. Go and indeed show your respect to her. One of the saddest things that you'll find is the disrespect that children tend to have towards their mother. Now, when we speak about the heart being pure, just as the heart is pure, and I can take the right and wrong role models, who are some role models we can take in society today that are wrong? Who can name some athletes, for example? Okay, Justin, the Beepster, the famous Beepster. Other than Justin Beepster, who else? Basketball players. Who knows basketball players? Go ahead, same one. LeBron James, okay. We're in Orlando. Who's famous in Orlando?
Nobody.
Dwight Howard, he left you guys. Who else? Go ahead, brother. Kobe, okay. Now, let me ask you a question. Kobe is a good what? He's a good basketball player, correct? LeBron is a good basketball player. Bieber is a good singer. My question to you is, or maybe some people may come and say he's not a good singer, but that's out of the discussion. The question is, these athletes, these celebrities are good at what they do, correct or no? We agree? Okay. Now say I like Kobe Bryant, and I follow him for the skills that he has on the court. Is it suitable for me to follow him as a human being off the court? Question. LeBron James is an excellent basketball player, correct or no? We agree? We don't agree, whatever you want to say. Now, LeBron is good on the court. Is he a human being to be followed off the court? LeBron, or for example, Kobe was, involved in that whole incident with the female. Now, that shows that he's not a human being to be followed off the court. Why do we follow the Holy Prophet of Islam? Do you know why? I'll give it to you in very simple and understandable terms. The Prophet was somebody to be followed on the court and off the court. There was no difference in the Prophet, in the message that he gave and in his day-to-day life. We don't think that the Prophet was, teaching the Quran, in the daytime, giving hadith, being all nice to the people. Then in the nighttime, that message was disconnected from his life. No, the Prophet not only gave the message, he was the message itself. There's a big difference. I can come and, for example, give you this iPad, correct? The Prophet didn't have a message in his hand that he was giving to the people. No, he himself was the message. He was the walking. Imam Ali alayhi salam didn't only give the Quran. He says, ask me before you miss me, because I'm the speakable Quran. He himself was the Holy Quran. Now, the reason why we follow the Holy Prophet of Islam, Nabi Muhammad, which we're actually celebrating the days of his birth, is because his actions were astounding. I, as a human being, I'm walking, I take that step. Let me ask myself, what's the step that the Prophet would take? I'm sitting down. I ask myself, how would the Prophet sit down? I'm, for example, speaking to my friends. How would the Prophet speak? Now, let me ask you one last question in conclusion. The Prophet of Islam, how would he teach people Islam? Do you guys want to teach your friends about Islam? Do you really want to know Islam, number one? Right? How do we teach Islam to the people? Could you imagine I'm sitting in class, for example, and I see a girl in front of me, I tap her shoulder and say, hey girl, you want to learn about Islam? It's a very good religion. I would be a weirdo. I'd be a very weird human being. Right? Could you imagine, for example, you're walking in the street, you see somebody and you go to them and you say, hey, you want to learn about Islam? It's an amazing religion. It's a fabulous religion. You want to start learning about it? You think you're weird. How would the Prophet do it? Could you imagine 2 billion Muslims in the world today, starting with one man? You know Steve Jobs? We're fascinated by Steve Jobs. He was one man with one product, and now billions of people have his product. Let's rewind and look at the true Steve Jobs, which was the Holy Prophet of Islam. And not even to put them on the same level. A man who didn't have one follower of his product, and today you have over 2 billion people following his product. Do you know how the Prophet would teach Islam? Would he go door to door speaking about Islam? You know Jehovah's Witness? They go knocking on doors, asking if you want to learn about their religion. How would the Prophet teach Islam? I'll give you a simple example. One day the Prophet was walking, and he saw an old lady with a bucket in her hand. He's like, let me go and help this lady. He goes to the lady, he tells her, excuse me, it looks like you're struggling with this bucket. Is it possible if I grab it from your hand and begin to help you? She says, yes, go ahead. While they're walking, the lady begins to give the Prophet some words of advice. She says, he's a good guy. He's helping me. Let me give him some words of advice. She tells him, excuse me, oh man. She doesn't know who he is. She tells him, oh man, I want to warn you from a very crazy man. This man goes around reciting these fascinating lines of poetry he refers to as the Quran, and people are fascinated by his message and they become Muslims. Who was she talking about? The Prophet, right? Now what does the Prophet do? Does he punch her in the nose? You know, today in school somebody looks at us wrong. Hey, behind the school, 3 o'clock, we become like enemies right away. The Prophet didn't do anything. Did he take the bucket, throw it in her face and say, take a hike, lady? No. They keep on walking. They reach the destination. She tells him, excuse me, oh man, before you leave, I didn't get your name. I mean, you just helped me. Could I possibly get your name? So that once I go back to my city, I can tell the people about how an amazing personality I met on my way to my city. He says, excuse me, lady, do you know that crazy man we were talking about? All he does is spread and spew his venom into the minds of the people. She says, yes. He says, that's me. My name is Muhammad. She says, you're Muhammad? You're that same Sahirun Majnoon? That same crazy magician everybody's referring to? He says, yes, that's me. She tells him, what can I do to follow your message? He says, repeat after me. She says, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa annaka Muhammadan Rasulullah. She becomes a Muslim. My point is to ask you the following question. What brought her to the religion of Islam? Did the Prophet speak about Islam? No. Did he tell her Tawheed is this unbelievable philosophy in my religion? No. Did he tell her Ali ibn Abi Talib? No. He simply picked up a bucket, he put it down, and she became a Muslim. You and I, brothers and sisters, we should be picking up buckets in our society. How do I pick up a bucket? Physically? No. I see garbage on the floor, I pick it up. That's my bucket. I see, for example, cursing in front of me, I tell them, stop it. That's my bucket. The teacher, for example, is speaking and everybody's speaking disrespectfully to her. I don't. I speak with kindness and respect. That's my bucket. The question I would love to leave you with today, what's your bucket? And what's the bucket you can choose to pick in the world today? After this majlis, let us go into the world that we live in. Let us find buckets to pick up metaphorically. And if there is no bucket to pick up, let me try to create a bucket, whatever that could be. My mom, for example, tells me to do something. Should I answer back and say, Mama, no, I don't want to do it. I'm so busy. I have homework. Allah comes and says that's the same mother who would be gone and he'll be begging to see. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Okay, Ahsantum. And Ahsantum, thank you very much and may Allah bless you inshallah. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.